Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Calvin Tobin Show. I am your host, Calvin Tobin. Today we have a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. Oh, right. College football is back, and the real first week of college football is here. And oh my God, was it insane. And it was insane for a couple of reasons. One, we had 5 straight days of football. It started Thursday and it ends tonight with number 4 Clemson facing Georgia Tech. And 2, the games were unbelievable. From West Virginia facing Pittsburgh, to North Carolina facing Appalachian State, to Florida facing Utah, to Florida State facing LSU. You couldn't take your eyes off any screen whatsoever, with 1, good games, and 2, because football is back. Now, right before the weekend started, the College Football Playoff Board of Managers finally landed on their decision of how many teams they're going to expand to in the College Football Playoff. And this was a unanimous vote. And they decided that it's going to expand to 12 teams, and it's all starting in 2026, but they're trying to get the commissioners to push this to get it started as soon as 2024, and the sooner it starts, the better. So how is this format going to be laid out? Well, the college football playoff with these 12 teams, it's going to be the top 4 teams are going to have the bye week in the first week of the playoffs, and teams ranked 5 through 12 will face each other, and those 4 winners will go on to face the top 4 teams. So it would be 5 versus 12, 6 versus 11, 7 versus 10, and 8 versus 9. So if this first week of the college football season were to be the week right before the week that the weekend teams that are going into the college football playoff, we would have like Oklahoma State taking on Notre Dame, or we would have Utah taking on Baylor. And so when 2026 or 2024 starts, after the regular season is over, we are going to have the best overall month of football that we could see in college football. Competition is going to be at an all-time high because we're going to have conference championships. We're going to have more playoff football to watch, and then we get the national championship. Like, competition is not going to get better than when 2024 or 2026 comes, and it's going to be absolutely nuts. And with the evolution of college football over the years, it just seems like it can't get any better every single time that college football upgrades. But it's college football, and nothing is like college football. You got the college town love, you got the fandom of every college base, and you got all kinds of hype. It's like a miniature version of soccer. Soccer's the whole world, but if you put college football in the whole world, there's a good chance that college football can give soccer a run for its money for the hype all around it for when you watch this sport. It's just like you can't get enough of it for being around so much love for the game. And the game of the week surprised us all because it was a huge upset. And the game of the week ended up being Florida versus Utah. And Florida shook everybody. They shook everybody for how good they were in this game. It was the Florida Gators taking on the 7th ranked Utah Utes in game 1 of the season. Florida wasn't even ranked, and last year they went 6-7, and for how they played last year, it looked like it was going to be something similar going into this season, but that did not happen at all because Florida's star quarterback now, Anthony Richardson, he ended up being the star of this game. He turned Florida around and actually made Florida look good, which surprised a lot of people, like I said. Because what Anthony Richardson did is he had 168 passing yards and 106 rushing yards, along with 3 rushing touchdowns. And his best play cannot stop being posted or replayed on social media because it was that crazy. What happened is this play happened right after the third Florida scored, and this was going for a 2-point conversion. And what Anthony Richardson did was he jumped, pump fake, spin moved away from 2 defenders and threw it to a wide open receiver in the end zone where no one was out whatsoever, and Florida went up 22-19 at this point in the game. But on the other hand, Utah's quarterback Cam Rising had a game himself. He had 216 passing yards and he had 91 rushing yards. And even with how great of a rushing game that Cam Rising had, he was about to outrush his own running back, and he had a good game in this game as well, tearing through the Florida defense himself because he had 115 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. But Utah, Cam Rising, he made the biggest mistake of this game, even though he had a great and solid game for the rest of the game, but all the way up until the very last drive. And I'm going to start it off with Florida. They had 6 minutes and 26 seconds to go down and get the lead because they were down 26-22 at this point, and they were milking the clock as much as possible, and they got it down to as much as the minute and a half in the game left to go. And after that, Utah gets the ball back. They practically have the entire field to go, and they were moving the ball really well all the way up until that goal line, and it looked like that Utah was going to win this game. But that didn't happen at all because Florida's defense came up with a clutch interception on the very last throw of the game by Cam Rising, which sealed the deal for Florida winning this game 29-26. Florida in this game turned a lot of heads, and they might be better than we all think because their new coach looks like he turned this Florida team around real quick after a horrific outing of Dan Mullen last year, after he was slowly looking worse as time went on in the 2021 season. But oh my gosh, Florida, they might actually have something to prove this year because, like I said, they turned a lot of heads and they might have a better season than a lot of people are expecting. And what people were expecting was the New York Knicks to get Donovan Mitchell because of how it was going for a while. They had the main focus and they had the biggest shot and chance to get Donovan Mitchell the way of what they offered and what they were potentially able to give up. But after they signed RJ Barrett to that $120 million 4-year extension, we were all wondering who or what they were going to give up next because Utah was asking for more. So who else is, what is the Knicks going to give up? The very next day, Cleveland ends up getting Donovan Mitchell. The Cleveland Cavaliers end up getting Donovan Mitchell. And who Cleveland ended up trading, they traded Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, Okai Abaji, 3 unprotected first-round picks, and 2 pick swaps. And This trade just came out of nowhere, and the Cavaliers caught us by surprise because of it happening the very next day after RJ Barrett got signed. But here's the thing. With the signing of Donovan Mitchell, what does this say about Cleveland? Well, they are definitely in the playoff picture because Donovan Mitchell is definitely good enough to get them there, based on how they played last year, because they were up there. They were in the top 5, top 10 teams, and they were moving along until injuries started to bite them. But with the addition of Donovan Mitchell, with Darius Garland's new contract that he just got, Donovan is bound to get more, and that puts the Cleveland Cavaliers on a much harder path to go get more players in general, because between those two players, they're going to get over $300 million, or maybe even $400 million in contract money just between those two guys. So it's going to make them have them a little bit harder of a shot to potentially be an above average team. But it also didn't improve Donovan Mitchell's situation in any way, because he is right back to where he started, because the Cleveland Cavaliers weren't exactly and aren't exactly better than the Utah Jazz for when they had Gobert and Mitchell, because Gobert and Mitchell, they were making the playoffs, but they couldn't even get past the second round themselves. And Mitchell joining Darius Garland and the Cavaliers, this doesn't make it any better for Mitchell, because Cleveland has always been out of the playoffs unless LeBron James is there. But with this addition, this could put Cleveland as a potential good team for the first time without LeBron James. So, what is going to happen next year? Are the Cleveland Cavaliers going to be able to sustain those injuries, and will they make the playoffs? Because they were a top 5 team in the East, like I said, until those injuries started to come in. So, what is in store for Cleveland, and how far is Donovan Mitchell going to take these guys? And besides, speaking of Cleveland, or even LeBron James, after Cleveland just got Donovan Mitchell, LeBron James might be rethinking that 2-year, $97 million extension with the Lakers, because now he's definitely wanting to go back to Cleveland and probably wanting to win them another championship. But we'll see what happens with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland and how that ends up, because these two guys, they're going to have a total of over $350, $400 million in contract money, and that's going to put them out of the reach of consistency in the playoffs. They might get it every now and then with Donovan Mitchell there, but they're not going to be consistent because of that money situation. All right, that's the end of the Calvin Tobin Show. Please subscribe to my channel at Calvin Tobin Show so you don't miss out on any sports media. And please follow me on Instagram at Calvin Tobin Show so you don't miss out on any sports news whatsoever. And